everybody. Today I am going to give you a demonstration for two products. The first is going to be a potato bread and the second is going to be a sweet, which is the fruit saffron. So first we'll start with the potato bread. The potato bread is a very flavorful bread, okay, and it is very popular in most of the European countries and also in America. The texture of this bread is very soft. You really relish eating it, okay. You can make it very flavorful by adding fresh herbs, dried herbs, so that to enhance the flavor and enjoy it more. So I'll start with the ingredients. Here what we have done is, I have taken 200 grams of flour. It's 200 grams of flour here. Then I have boiled the potatoes and mashed the potatoes. Basically I have grated the potato. So this is 100 grams of potatoes. We are going to use one yolk. So I have taken one egg here. Then this is fresh cream. Now you know why the texture is going to be so soft. Here this is 70 ml of fresh cream. Then we have salt, we have turmeric here, and we are not going to use fat here to cream the salt. We are going to use butter. This is Amul butter, about 10 grams. 10 grams of yeast, and this we have kept coriander seeds. Pounded coriander seeds to be placed on top of the bread rolls, okay. You can make this into a loaf, but today we are going to make small bread rolls, 10 bread rolls, okay. So I will start now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the flour on the table. Then I'm going to add the potato. After that I'm going to add one yolk. Now what we are going to do is we are going to mix all these ingredients properly. Like how you will do for short crust pastry, we will just mix all these ingredients just using our fingertips. So it gets mixed properly, the yolk and the potatoes. Okay, so we are just mixing all these ingredients. So it's flour, potato and the yolk. I'm going to add the turmeric powder. Then we will add the yeast. 10 grams of yeast, just crumble it. Add the cream. If you go through the recipe, you will find the ingredient list. There is no sugar in this. We are not going to add any sugar, for the simple reason that potatoes have a lot of starch and flour, you know, there is starch. I am going to add a little bit of water here. Now I am going to make a dough, regular bread roll dough, okay. Now just be a little cautious because potato has a lot of moisture in it, okay. So don't add too much of water at one time, add as and when required. So as I am pressing it, I realize that yeah, there is moisture in the potatoes and the amount of water which I am going to require is not a lot, even maybe, you know, less than 100. Because if I make it too soft, I will not be able to handle it. Initially don't use the dough scraper. Once all the ingredients come together, then use the dough scraper. And you see how less water I'm adding, because I'm scared that if I add too much of water, it might become too slack and I will not be able to handle the dough. So therefore, I'm very cautious with the water. Now I'm just going to knead this a little bit. The amount of potato which you can add in this bread is a variable ingredient, as in you can add 100, you can reduce it, you can add more. So in the years gone by, flour was a very expensive commodity in the European countries. So therefore, they replaced the flour, the housewives would replace the flour by potato which was grown in their backyard. Now after you have kneaded it well, then I am going to add the salt and the fat, or butter, not fat. It's not. Okay, keep this on the side and then add the salt and butter. Take the dough and push it in. Knead. Okay, now you can see the dough is sticking to my hand, which is an indication that I need to stop. So I'm going to stop here at this point, and I'm just going to, don't keep rubbing your hands like this. Whatever is stuck to your hand, just take it off with the help of a dough scraper, and then we round up this dough. And you see this smooth surface? This is what you're going to get after you have kneaded the dough well. Okay, nice smooth surface with a little tinge of yellow. That's it. Now what I'm going to do is, I could have kept it here and covered it, but since the temperature in this room is not right, I'm going to keep it on a vessel here, in a glass bowl, and I'm going to keep it in the prover at around 30 degrees centigrade. To keep it covered with a wet cloth, and it goes into the prover. Okay, now as you saw, we just finished with the bread dough, and now it is in the prover. It is proving at around 20 to 30 degrees centigrade. Now we are going to start with the fruit saffron dough. So for the fruit saffron, it was invented in the year 1844 in Paris by Julian brothers. Okay, and they were motivated after tasting the baba or ram in one of the restaurants there. The only thing is here, the dough is similar to the baba or ram, but they add different alcoholic beverages here, and they serve it with fruits and cream. So today we will just start with the dough, and then we will proceed. Okay, so I will talk to you about the ingredients first here. Now the ingredients in this fruit saffron is, we are using 115 grams of refined flour, 115, then we have about 8 grams of yeast. This is 10 grams of powdered sugar, because we want a nice color for our saffron, so it's 10 grams of powdered sugar. And this is 70 grams of margarine we are using. We are going to use about 70 ml of milk to make the dough. Then we are going to use 2 eggs and a little bit of salt. Okay. Now here we are going to bake this in a mold. This is called the Savarin mold. Okay, so when we're going to turn it upside down, and in this portion which is empty, we are going to put a lot of fruits. Okay, it looks beautiful, tastes good. You can call it a yeast cake also. It is made with yeast, and you can serve it like this. When you have a look at the final product, you will be impressed. Okay, so let's start now with the dough. First and foremost, 115 grams of flour here. Make a well. Add the yeast. Now one thing you should remember, you cannot be playing with the dough. The dough has to be ready in about 7 to 8 minutes. Okay. Then we add sugar. So 8 grams of yeast, 10 grams of sugar. And we will add milk. We are not going to use the eggs or the margarine right now. After the first fermentation, we are going to add these two ingredients. Okay. So here first add the milk and make the dough. You might require a little water. Your hands should work very fast. Do not use the dough scraper in the beginning. What happens is, if you use a dough scraper in the beginning, all this flour mixture, it goes and gets stuck to the dough scraper, and then it doesn't get incorporated properly afterwards. That is the main reason for not using the dough scraper in the beginning. Now as I am making the dough, I realize that I need some more water. So I am going to add water. It has to be a very soft dough. If you want a good texture for your fruit savarin, this has to be a soft dough. If you make a stiff dough, however much you try to rectify it later on, that is not going to help. Okay. Only thing is, don't add too much of water in the beginning. As you are kneading it, you add water. So what are the ingredients which have gone here? Only yeast and sugar, flour, milk. That's it. Now use both your hands to knead. Go from this end to that end. Bring everything this side. Then go from this end to that end. I'm going to use some more water. Again start from this end to go that side. Push the dough that side by doing this action. Now I am going to use my dough scraper here. I am going to just clean my hands, bring everything together. One last time. I am happy with the texture of the dough. I am not going to add any more water. Clean up the area. Collect all the dough and round it up. Can you see? Nice and soft. Now if I need some more, the dough will start sticking to my hand, which is an indication that you are over kneading it. So please don't knead more. Just this is it. Now we are going to round it up and keep it. Can you see the area? Neat and clean. Yeah. Smooth surface. This is how it's going to be. Now I want to keep it in a bowl like this. Cover it up and keep it in the prover to prove for about say 40 to 45 minutes. Okay, that's it. We'll come back. Okay, now I have taken out, as you can see, I have taken out the dough from this bowl. I should have applied a little oil here so that it would not have stuck here. Now what I am going to do is I am going to stretch the dough, elongate the dough and make a okay. After that I am going to divide the dough. First mark the dough into 10 portions. As I mentioned before, you can just put this into a loaf tin also and you will get an excellent bread loaf. Now I am going to cut this. I am just taking a little putting my fingers in the flour. Now what I'll do is I'm just putting my fingers in a little oil here and rounding it up. Just making it easier. That's about it. I don't want to use too much of dusting flour, so I am just dipping my fingers in oil, just plain refined oil, and I am rounding it up. Okay, now as you can see, we have rounded up the potato bread rolls and we have placed it on the lightly greased tray. After that, we are going to apply some water here. A little bit of water. You can also spray the water. And then, as mentioned before, this is roasted coriander seeds, roasted and pounded. Just place a little bit on top of that. Not too much, just a bit. Now we will prove this again for another 40 minutes and then we will bake it at 220 degrees centigrade for about 12 to 15 minutes. Okay. Okay. Now we start with our fruit saverin. Our dough is proved, as you can see here, it's proved well. Now what I am going to do is, I am going to pick up this dough and put it on the table. It's completely proved. Now I am going to add melted margarine. First, before that, what I'll do is I'll just cut this up into small pieces. And then I'm going to pour this melted margarine on the table. It is melted and cooled, okay, not hot margarine. Along with that, we're going to add salt. A little bit of it. Now some people like to or prefer to do it in a bowl, but I like to do work on the table for the simple reason that the incorporation of margarine is very well done on the table. So if you find it a little difficult to work on the table, you can just put it in the bowl and mix it. All of it, all the margarine. Again I repeat, 70 grams of melted margarine. You can use butter if you like. The dough was nice and soft. Now 70 grams of margarine. So from a dough, basically you will get a nice batter, like a cake batter after the incorporation of eggs. Now again I am going to knead it a little bit so that the margarine gets incorporated properly. That is done. What I am going to do is now, it looks a little yucky but it's incorporated well. So we will pick this up now and we will put it in the glass bowl so that what I am doing you will be able to see. Because the temperature here is about 18 degrees centigrade, the margarine is solidifying here. Now what we will do is just cleaning up this table a little bit, picking up everything, cleaning my hands. Okay, that's done. Now what I am going to do is I am going to beat 2 eggs. First and foremost, I am going to put this duster here on the table to get a good grip. Then I am going to place my bowl here and I am going to beat up 2 eggs now. Here I have beaten up the eggs a little bit here. I am going to just beat up a little more. I am also going to add some vanilla essence. And I am going to use a whisk. I am adding some vanilla essence here. Now we are going to add this egg in 4 parts. You can use an electric hand mixer to incorporate the egg, but today I will be using a whisk because in college we all use whisk to incorporate, so I am going to use the whisk. Okay, so add a little bit. I have already added vanilla essence here. Again I repeat in 4 parts and you mix. Initially you will have a little problem. Keep a spatula close to you so that you can keep clearing or cleaning the sides from time to time. Exactly like how you will do for a cake batter, same way. A little difficult in the beginning, then second and third batch it becomes a little easy. Basically the margarine and the egg will give this fruit saffron a very light texture. Okay, now we are going to incorporate the last batch of the egg into this mixture. Slowly incorporate, otherwise the egg will all spill over, okay? Okay, now can you see I told you initially it was a dough, now it has become a nice thick batter. Now we are going to put it in our mold. This is called a Savarin mold. Various sizes are available. Don't waste anything. Everything will incorporate. Now clean the sides of the bowl. Now there is a trick in putting this mixture here. Now when you are putting, you have to keep rotating the vessel for the simple reason that if I put all the mixture in here, how am I going to spread? So therefore I'll keep rotating this tin. We have oiled it and we have dusted it. You will have done it in the first year when you have made the Christmas pudding. So this is, we have applied oil and then we have dusted. So now either I rotate this or I turn this around. So whichever is easy, I will do it. So I think I will turn this around. See that you don't mess up the edges. Be very careful. You can stop, then again you go here. Then you stop. So if you have a partner, you can keep rotating. The partner keeps rotating the tin. Okay. Only be careful that you don't mess up the sides. Okay. Just be a little careful about that. And the batter should be proportionately distributed. Otherwise, you will have the fruits have been rising in one area a bit too much. We are not going to bang this tin or anything. I told you it's like a yeast cake, so it is going to prove. Now after you have finished putting the major portion of your batter, then the remaining you can just adjust in areas where there is less batter. Now what we will do is, we are going to prove this for a good 40 to 50 minutes, and then we will bake it at 200 degrees centigrade for about half an hour. Okay, this is done. Yeah. Now as you can see, if you can see, this is how it's going to be. Now it will go in the prover. We'll keep it at about 28 to 32 degrees centigrade, between 28 and 32 degrees centigrade till it rises, and before putting it in the oven, I'll show it to you. Okay, now what we are going to do is, our bread rolls have approved, the potato bread rolls. And you see it's nice and light, fully aerated, very light, it's full of carbon dioxide. Now what we'll do is, we'll put it in the oven at 220 degrees centigrade for about 10-12 minutes. Because it is a single tray, it might take a little shorter time because there is only one tray on the rack. If there were 6 trays, it would take about 15-20 minutes, but this should be ready in 12 minutes, I suppose. Saffron is also fermented, you can see. Now what we will do is, we will put it in the oven at 200 degrees centigrade for about 25 to 30 minutes, okay? Okay, now I think our bread rolls are almost done. I will just check and we will take it out, okay? Yeah, bread rolls are ready. Saffron is almost ready. Now I'm going to take it out of the oven and then I'm going to cool it down and then we will decorate it, okay? So let's start. And you see, because of the yeast, it has risen very well. Now we will cool it down and then we will demold it and then decorate. Okay, now what we are going to do is, we will start decorating the fruit saffron. So this is now warm, not hot. So we will just, I'll pick it up like, first and foremost, what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to pull this inside like this, trying to loosen it up. It's hot, just try and pull it. Then the center portion, just try and again put the palette knife very carefully without breaking the or tearing up the saffron. After that, what we will do is, once you are happy with the demolding, in the sense that you have loosened up everything, then what you do is you put this plate on top of the mold. Then you hold this plate and the saffron mold, because the saffron is hot, therefore you turn it upside this way. After you do that, then pick up the mold. Very carefully, don't pull it. Very carefully see that you take it out. There you go. Now what has happened is, little bit, it's a bit broken here, a bit torn here, so don't bother about that, that's fine. Now what we will do is, if there is any crumb, just take it out or put it in the center. Now we are going to put some sugar syrup. You can add some alcoholic beverage to this. Today we have not added anything. Then you pour a lot of it. This whole cake has to get basically soaked in the sugar syrup. So you will require a lot of it. Okay. Can you see how much of sugar syrup I have added? Almost one full bowl. I am going to check. See, can you see there is some sugar syrup here which is being absorbed. I told you, because of the egg and the margarine, it's very porous, and therefore a lot of sugar syrup is going to be absorbed by the saffron. Then what we are going to do is, this is apricot jam. I have just whisked the apricot jam here, and I am going to apply the apricot jam on the sides and on top. With a brush, whatever you feel convenient to apply. You can use a brush or you can use a palette knife. Not too much, just a light coat. I told you we have added just 10 grams of sugar while making the dough. So therefore, it is not sweet at all. If you are going to make it sweet by adding the sugar syrup and also by applying the apricot jam. If you don't have apricot jam, you may use any other jam. But the thing is, apricots are grown in plenty in most of the European countries and in America. So a lot of apricot is being used in their dishes. After you apply this, then what we are going to do is, these are fruits which I have cut and kept. You can use any fruit of your choice. I have used apples, oranges and chiku. Okay, so you can use whatever you want. Okay, you can add pineapple, you can add peach, you can add mosambi, sweet lime, anything. Only thing is, I just clean this whole area on the side with the help of a palette knife, so that this saffron looks neat. And then what I am going to do is, I am going to put the fruits in the center. But before that, I am going to clean the plate. You can't take a messy plate in front of the guests. So therefore, I will just clean this. Can you see I have not applied any jam on the inside. Jam is only on the outside. Okay. Then what I am going to do is, I am going to put the fruits in the center. After you have put the fruits, then what we are going to do is, just press it a little bit Then we have whipped topping here, which I have put in a piping bag with a small star nozzle. You can decorate it the way you like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some swirl of cream here. It's up to you whether you want to put so much of cream, whether you have so much of cream to spare. Otherwise you can just put it on the side the way I have put it here. Then we will place some cherries here on top of the swirl. This is all optional, okay, extra decoration. You want, you do it. These are some mint leaves which I am going to dry it a little bit, and we will place it. Again, optional. You want, you can omit the mint leaves. Looks nice, little contrast. After that, these are blanched almonds. I have blanched them and I have removed the skin and have flaked them. Now the flakes are also quite thick. Can you see the thickness of this? They are quite thick. Now what I am going to do is I am going to insert these here. Anyhow, upar niche you can just arrange it. Because the sponge is nice and soft, you know, you can just push it inside. If you have fresh strawberries, you could have put fresh strawberries here on top. It will look beautiful. I'll just finish off these little almonds which I have in my hand. So this is a fruit savarin for you. Quite easy to make.